Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 76 of the Vito x DINO podcast. My name is Vito Delsante. His name is, as always, Dean Haspiel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dean Haspiel.
Dino, do you realize that we will hit episode 100 in this calendar year?
Really?
Yeah, if
Why?
we,
Because we keep doing this weekly?
yeah, yeah. Like if we hold true to our like schedule, like we have been, and we record on a Thursday, like we usually do, episode 100 will be December 10th.
Wow. For
Like we,
Christmas, a little Christmas gift to ourselves.
yeah, like we'll hit it right after uh what is it? Pearl Harbor Day.
Let me ask you, what I know why we talk to each other, and we do get the occasional, gratefully, like people who are into us talking to each other and things we bring up, that's either relevant, something that happened this week. What did you do this week? What's happening, with our processes of creation. Today is essentially my last day at Yaddo after about a month. Tomorrow I leave. And in fact, there's a giant benefit happening here at the mansion where I think three, or is it 500 patrons are going to come to be part of a benefit to help raise funds for Yaddo. So kind of like my last night's one big giant party.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and but like going back to the point of our podcast, like I understand that. And listen, does it last? Do we put these things up and do they disappear, a few years after we pass away, or is it long live our, YouTube? Like I don't know ultimately how it works. And again, that's not why we're doing it. But like I on the one hand, I do hope that this is semi-entertaining, and I do hope that it's semi-educational, and it's a stamp in time,
Yeah.
you know. Every week is another stamp in time, right? And I
I
think a
think
lot of people do what we do, but like, and I don't want to think too hard about why we do it. But do you ever
I
think about that, Vito?
I don't, I just do. But I
Yeah.
do think that what our show is more than a comic book podcast about process. We don't do reviews. I mean, every now and again, we talk about things we're reading, but we don't really do reviews. I think what our show is more than anything, and this is kind of cornball, but I think it's true, is it's a document of a friendship that
Mm,
was facilitated or even created by a love of comics. And I think that's why we always have something to talk about, and
hmm
um, uh, we always have topics, or like not even if we have topics, we can just go off the fly. And I think that's because of our friendship more than anything, more than anything related to comics, movies, whatever, like it's just,
Sure.
I think
Sure.
that's what the document is. Like, I think that's what when it's all said and done, that's what the thing that will stay and maybe speak to people years on from now. It's just like, oh, those two dudes like talking to each other. You know what I mean? And it just so happens that they made comics.
hmm and I mean, in early days, it would be on a stoop
Yeah.
or on
Or at the comic shop.
a landline telephone, or at the comic shop. And now it's on because you live in Pennsylvania and I'm in New York. This is the kind of like the current way to do this. But we're recording it, but we are trying to be as candid as possible. In other words, being honest as possible, even though sometimes, as we did just now, we did talk about something off topic or offline because, you know, uh, being sensitive about certain things, I guess,
Well, some things
and
aren't
being a little aware.
some things aren't for public consumption. You know what I mean? Like some things are just like the thing we were talking about is very it's not even that it's personal, but it's just something that like when I brought it up, it was kind of like, is that what's happening? And then like
Mhm,
kind of go into a parsing of
mhm.
what is the intent, what, and that's not really fodder for a show, like it's just, I mean, it
Okay,
is.
I'll bring up something that I didn't think I was going to talk about, and I didn't really do any heavy lifting. But for instance, and again, like we have to put things in context because like a week from now, people will be like, "What are you talking about?" And definitely a year from now, they'll be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, yeah.
But for instance, like the idea of just reading a headline and knee-jerk reacting to a headline without reading the story because of clickbait, kind of
Absolutely.
style. So there was a big kerfuffle over Spider-Man 1000 cover by John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
and Paulo Rivera because why? Why? Because Rob Liefeld did he say something
Oh,
or no?
it
Rob
was.
Liefeld was talking about something with Mark Wade, which I didn't even understand.
We'll go
So
into that
sorry,
one.
I'm already conflating things.
Yeah, we'll go into that one after we do this one. So
All
the
right, so the Spider-Man 1000. So Spider-Man's hitting 1000 or something, or I don't know if that's true or not. But the 1000th issue of Spider-Man's coming out soon, and a lot of people were doing covers, and one of them is John Romita Jr., whose father, John Romita, took over drawing Spider-Man after Steve Ditko left, and also is also another perennial. I mean, there's a bunch of perennial Spider-Man artists, and John Romita Jr. is one of them, right?
yeah, I would say
So
that
you get this cover,
if you think of Spider-Man, you're thinking of John Romita's Spider-Man.
the Romita family, right? So and Steve Ditko and a bunch of other people. Anyway, so he did a cover, and then Paulo Rivera painted over his pencils, and it's Spider-Man kind of like leaping and it looks like he's kind of shrugging, like 1000 or not, or maybe just where if you want to like pick it apart, the way the shoulders are positioned is almost like a shrug, which I
Mhm.
think is what Spider-Man might do on a cover, especially when everyone else is going to have him doing all voguing and all the other cool stuff that Spider-Man can do. I thought that was cool coming from one of the old school masters. But then it was like, this is a bad cover, or is this good? And then there was the idea that Marvel was going to pull the cover because some people didn't like the cover, and then they were going to replace it, and then that wasn't so. And my head was like, this is why I can't go online, you know?
That's the reason
And
why.
not because I'm following it, because it's in my face, because of my algorithms, because I like
Right,
comic books,
right.
and I guess I like Spider-Man, so I'm going to see it. And I'm sitting there going, wait, what is happening? I can't believe there's a discussion here. Like, there's literally nothing to say,
Yeah,
and I feel stupid that I wasted our time talking about it because
I
it's going to
called
lead into another thing.
I called it a nothing burger.
It really is a nothing burger,
Like
and
first of all,
and
so what I believe what it came down to was a lot of people online seeing the release of the art and criticizing the pose, I would assume. Now, the thing about John Romita Jr.'s Spider-Man specifically is he's a little more muscular than, say, his dad's, uh, maybe a Ryan Stegman, a more modern artist that's worked on Spider-Man. Like John's um, anatomy is very much in the Mike Mignola kind of exaggerated blockiness kind of thing. And I
but
think
also
that,
it's curvy and it
yes,
shows gravity and weight. I actually talked to John Romita Jr. about how his art it shows gravity, and he's one
yeah.
of the rare artists that really shows how a body operates on land and in the sky.
So to a modern reader, they don't get that. You know what I mean? Like they think not necessarily that Spider-Man should look like Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland specifically because they're a smaller frame. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. Um, but
You need some water?
I have water,
Oh, okay.
but um, uh, Deer Park water from New York. So I think that the comments and like the videos on TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, but I saw on Facebook a TikTok video that was transferred over or whatever. And it takes no account to history and legacy of artists that have worked for years on Spider-Man. I think John Romita Jr. did the Free Comic Book Day snippet in the Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day this year. So, John Romita Jr. is tied almost. You can't extract John from Spider-Man. Like it is such a part of his DNA, literally with his dad being a seminal artist on it. But for the younger readers, and I would say younger millennial, Gen Z kind of, uh, access to the internet, like they've lived on the internet, that type of thing. They don't get that. They want it to look a certain way. And like maybe it's not that they want it to look a certain way, but they rail against what that looks like. And they're like, that's the weirdest looking pose ever. And it's a little odd, sure. But why would I not like I don't care. Like it's John Romita Jr. I'll put him on every cover if I could. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
hope he doubles down and does even dinkier poses from here on out and just be
Well, it's funny because he did post a cover like a day after of a Doctor Doom in the Rain cover or
yes.
something. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And it's great. Listen, somebody made a point, and again, I hate that I went down the rabbit hole, but somebody made a point that the actual design of the cover kind of sucks. And I don't mean his drawing composition, but where they put certain elements, when it went to dress.
Yes.
And it's like there's a lot of negative space, and suddenly they're putting stuff over a part of a building that they didn't need to do, and it's just kind of a weird design. Again, I'm not trying to diss the designer of the cover either.
Yeah, yeah.
But like that's where you're getting stupid nitpicky, and I'm like, oh my god, it would have just been. I hate to say it, maybe I don't play the cover game, but it'd been just another cover done by a legend,
And it,
for Spider-Man 1000. The end.
that's what it should be. It should just be exactly John Romita Jr. Spider-Man 1000, and that's the only part of the conversation you need to have. Like, there's no other
Hmm.
like the internet. I think I said this a couple of weeks ago on. It might have been on this podcast, but I'm pretty sure I did it on someone else's. But I was like, the internet has. How does the Mike Tyson quote go? Everyone's got an opinion until they get punched in the mouth. You know,
Until they punched him out. Yeah,
and
yeah,
the internet has made everyone comfortable with sharing their stupid knee-jerk opinions. Like it's just
absolutely,
it's like
including ours.
and look, an opinion is fine. Like you can have an
Yeah,
opinion, but
yes.
I don't think it's cool to attack a person's race, their religion, their sexual orientation. I don't think it's cool to attack a person's job, unless, that job is when it comes to like people using the N word like freely, like white people using the N word freely, and then somebody
Do you
going,
say job?
yeah, yeah,
Attack
yeah,
someone's job?
yeah.
Like working at Target or being a cartoonist or being a janitor or
I'll get to
plumber.
it. Let me
Oh,
get to
okay.
my
Yeah, yeah,
point
yeah.
first, but you'll see what I mean. Like, there are people that'll use like the N word and they're white and they use it freely, and then somebody goes, "Hey, Target, are you aware that your employee is doing this?" And then they get fired. That's not
Mm,
attacking their job. So, like,
mm,
that's attacking the character of the person who's just so happens to be working at that place. What I mean about
right.
attacking somebody's job is going after John Romita Jr. for a cover that you might not like. That's his livelihood. That's his job. Like, that's what he does for a living. Like, why would you do that? And then,
I mean, you know what an adult does, Vito? An adult, if you don't like the cover, you don't buy it and you buy the next comic that you like the cover if that's how you roll. Like,
yeah,
what are we talking about? So, can we transition quickly? And again, there's maybe another nothing burger. I don't know what Mark Waid said to irk Rob Liefeld, who loves
I
controversy.
will, I will, bottom line it, because there might be nuance to the conversation, but it really comes down. And here's my thing about Rob. So let's contextualize Mark Waid, who's been a guest on our show, and Rob Liefeld. Mark Waid, writer of what I call him like the writer of your favorite comic. Currently,
Hmm.
he's doing Batman and Robin. He's doing Action Comics, World's Finest at DC. He's having like a field day at DC. Like he's really in his groove right now. Rob Liefeld is an artist and writer, creator of co-creator of Cable, Deadpool, a couple of the more. When you think of '90s comics, you think of either Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld, and
Right.
Rob Liefeld is without a doubt '90s comics art. Like he is
Hmm.
quintessential. And
Well, superhero art, because
yes,
I
thank you.
transitioned to like when Fantagraphics was publishing all those great comics,
Very, that's fair.
from Clouds to Fingerman to Jessica Abel. I mean, it was anyway.
So Rob is a very polarizing figure just by his art. Speaking of, attacking somebody's job, like had Rob done an issue 1000 cover, there might have been some kind of controversy over Rob's
I mean,
version.
he's famous for a Captain America image
Yes.
that he
I mean,
drew. Famous.
yeah. So the thing is, Mark was saying that to treat Silver Age, maybe even Bronze Age comics as gospel and as apocrypha, these things that just cannot be changed, like the Jedi texts. And like this is a very good example, actually. I it just came to me. The Last Jedi, Star Wars movie was very controversial because in the movie they're training Luke Skywalker's not basically not like Luke Skywalker we've ever seen, and he's training Rey in the Force and everything, and he's telling her that basically you have to find your own way to be a Jedi. Like there was like the strict teaching, and that strict teaching led to Ben Solo becoming Kylo Ren. Okay, so in a very amazing, I think, choice by Ryan Johnson, scene in the movie, the Jedi texts burn, and Luke rushes into the tree that like this that's holding them, and he's trying to rescue them, and Yoda's like, "Don't, like this is not what it means to be a Jedi. A Jedi, doesn't need books. A Jedi needs to live, and a Jedi needs to like learn on their own." So basically, Mark is saying, let's not treat back issues or older issues like these Jedi texts. Let's look to the future. Let's move on, you know? And so Rob took that as an attack on, say, uh, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns or Watchmen or Jack Kirby's oeuvre, and Rob just, knee jerk. And the thing is, if you read what Mark wrote, you can see what he's saying. And like, I think Christy Blanche, who's a really good friend of ours, has written with Mark Waid. She goes, if anybody knows Mark Waid, they know he doesn't hate old comics. And like,
At all.
that's the
At
truth.
all.
And the thing
Yeah.
is, again, I think if Rob would have just, Rob just has these knee jerk reactions that are based on like you were saying, like the headline of it and like the superficiality of the conversation. And if he
Right.
just like took a second and just breathe and read
Right.
the thing, like maybe he'd come around and just go like, I was wrong. I doubt that Rob will ever claim that he's wrong about anything. But I think that if he just, took a second to read it, he would understand what Mark is saying.
Well, I always say, like, when people complain about, listen, we have to remind ourselves, like, we were kids when Star Wars came out. Star Wars is for kids,
Yep.
okay? And
Yep.
I like that Ryan Johnson take, and to the point where even I think at the very end of the movie, it ends with a little kid on a spaceship,
No,
and
he's sweeping and he's
he's sweeping, and then like it basically floats to him the broom or something or whatever happens, and it's implying that he might have Jedi powers that he
right.
can use, or learn to learn how to be whatever, in that version. And I always say, I have my Spider-Man. My Spider-Man was like Ross Andrew, John Romita Jr. Then I discovered the older ones, and my Spider-Man's not Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man. And for a lot of people, Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man is their Spider-Man. But you have that era, and things change and explore and move on. And like those stories you loved as a kid can be a little long in the tooth or a little kind of corny or whatever. And then today's stuff being written today are going to be corny 20 years from now, maybe. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is. So like I think when you're protecting the original texts, that's fine. But this isn't the Bible, because some of these stories are 75 years long now. Like it doesn't end.
That is
Like so.
the definition of gatekeeping. Like that's what gatekeeping is. Gatekeeping is not allowing for a new take, not allowing for a new audience, not allowing for any of that, because everything that has come before is sacred. Um,
Right.
I'll admit to this. I can't comfortably read a Jack Kirby comic. They are so tough to read.
You mean the
But
ones he writes?
yes, but if I grab an OMAC or a New Gods or Fourth World, whatever, and I can read it just by looking at the art, and that's the strength of Jack Kirby is that his storytelling, even if his dialoguing is weak or corny or whatever the word may be, if I just look at the art, I can read it and just be like, got it, I got the story. Like that's how good his storytelling.
Oh no, totally. It's very, yeah. But I will say, give it another try because I've come to love Jack Kirby's writing. Like it's again, it's a little much, but sometimes he hits gold, and you're like,
Oh,
wow,
the
that's
Captain
awesome.
America Mad Bomb stuff and the bicentennial era of Captain America that he came back to Marvel for
Right,
is
right,
golden. Like it's classic.
right,
Like
right.
and I can read those, and I don't think he worked
I
on most of those.
while we're talking Kirby really quickly, I love Mike D and Tommy Lombardozzi's podcast, the Jacked Kirby
Mhm.
podcast. And the recent one I've been listening to is called Mile a Minute Jones. And it's about Jack Kirby did a series called The Losers about war, you know, and this was one of the characters, and it's such I don't think I've ever read this story, Mile a Minute Jones. It's in Our Fighting Forces, issue number 159 from 1975. And it's so good, Vito. And I think it's right up your alley. So if you feel like listening to that episode, but then trying to find that comic, I
Yeah,
got to get this comic.
that might be the way
It's
to
so
go.
good because he also was good at morality plays, Jack Kirby. I mean, as I've said, I think a lot of his comics are PTSD comics, and definitely
That's
The
true.
Losers absolutely fits that,
Yeah, I would agree with
you
that. I
know,
think also that like, they say war changes a man, like, and that's clearly,
absolutely.
what happened.
It has
But
to.
I think
And the
to
other thing I want to bring up real quick about Jack Kirby is Crystal Skillman and Fred Van Lente wrote a
yeah,
play called King Kirby. So there's going to be, I'm trying to find it right now while talking to you, in Brooklyn, August 20th to August 30th, they're doing, I believe it's a reading. I don't know if it's a fully produced play at BK1 Productions that Tommy Lombardozzi is also a part of. In
hmm,
fact, they've talked to me about doing play readings or something like that. And I've seen some and it's fun.
hmm.
It's in Industry City. We'll talk about it again later, and I'll push it online. And there's a bunch of dates, and I've seen the play. I don't know if they've updated it or at all, but it's great. And Fred Van Lente,
Yeah,
one of us, and then Crystal Skillman's a great playwright. So yeah, I can already recommend this because I've seen it or I've seen a version of it
mhm.
at the Tom Kane Theater, Industry City, late August. So I just wanted to promote that and talk
Yeah, I'll
about
try
that
to get
briefly.
the link and put it in the show notes here so that people
Yeah,
can.
yeah. Okay, I'll get you the link. Yeah. So
But the thing,
so just to wrap up the Liefeld Wade thing, like it's someone like misinterpreting what someone else is saying, but then you get all these headlines, but I do wonder this because he's a shit stir. And I've come to kind of like Rob Liefeld. I gotta say, I was not a Rob Liefeld fan early on, but there's just something about him. I can't. I know he loves comics,
yeah, I think that's
and
clear.
he loves comics the way he loves comics, just like we love comics the way we love. But in the shit stirring, I think sometimes, just like it's almost like advertising. Sure, he's trying to get his name out there, and then I don't know if Mark's trying to do that, or maybe he's trying to promote a Kickstarter or something while he's doing all these DC comics. Fine, whatever. We all have discussed. We're doing a podcast, but like it does create a conversation, and it does make you think about, what about those older comics, and what about the new comics, and then it. So I think that can be an interesting takeaway.
I will put it into, like, I'm gonna guess on one end and tell you exactly how Mark was being interviewed for a podcast. So I know that there was a video of it. And what I'm pretty sure happened was, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm gonna guess, like with an educated guess. Somebody wrote Rob a text or not a text, like a Twitter or threads or something like that, and go, Rob, what do you think of this that Mark did? And just had the clip of that, and then that's it. And that's all he had to go on. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like I said, it's a
That
nuance.
sounds like how it probably went down.
Mm,
And that's the thing. Clips, you take something out of context, out of the bigger conversation, and you're just like, oh boy. Okay,
Yeah,
what do I have to do? I have to like, did you want to watch the whole thing and see how it was really contextualized? Or
right.
do I have to actually do hand holding all day long, which is a waste of time,
Sure.
you know?
Rob is also of like the Generation X that I'm a part of, that you're, I think, right on the cusp of, so
Hmm.
I feel like somehow or other, Rob might, I don't want to say that he's got undiagnosed ADHD, but he's got that kind of, you got to keep his attention quick. You know what I mean? Like that's what I've always thought of Rob. So
Hmm.
I feel like giving him a quick snippet of something is probably the purest way to get Rob's unfiltered opinion. But I think that again, if you sat down with Rob and you had this conversation and you said, like, if you put both of those two in a room and they talked to each other and they like, did like a debate kind of thing, I think Rob would be more on Wade's side than not. Like I think that he like his argument doesn't
Sure.
doesn't not that it doesn't hold weight, but I think that it loses itself. It falls apart a little bit because it's a straw man argument. Like it's just
Well, also
like Rob is a
we
part of the
all of
vanguard.
us,
Do you know what I mean? Like Rob is a part of a vanguard that the '90s created that basically spit in the face of what came before it to move the industry in
yeah.
different. So why would he not think that way? You know what I mean? Like that.
I mean, he literally was part of a gang that like was writing, whether you liked it or not, the future of comics.
Right.
Like you said, a vanguard, right? Like, so he literally is a culprit of the very thing that Wade is possibly positing. Wade is not saying don't read the old comics and don't enjoy them. In
Mhm.
fact, I cherish that stuff because they don't make comics like that anymore. They don't.
Mhm.
I'm trying to make comics that are a little bit nostalgic, like and I was going to say the word nostalgia is very important for a lot of fans of anything, of any medium, of any, franchise or whatever. And I'm definitely, and you too, Vito, you're writing, you're winking at the things that you grew up reading and loving. And, you brought up George Perez and Marv Wolfman and, like absolutely, and so no doubt. Um, it's funny because I wonder who who did Rob Liefeld like? I mean, he obviously like John Byrne, but his artistic influence is very different from maybe what he likes in terms of this. So I'm just kind of curious to know what comics was he looking at to learn how to draw,
I
you
think
know?
I think there's a Kirby like I know it's hard for people to see it, but there's a Kirby influence that I think is there. Um,
Well, the abstract of Kirby, when
right.
Kirby's going abstract because like
And this is going
Picasso,
back to John Romita Jr. now, like like the
yeah,
idea of like the exaggerated um,
yeah.
gravity of a body in motion kind of thing. Um, I think that he's definitely got that, going for him. I don't know that he's um, from the Neil Adams school, with hyper detail. Um, Although that you could make that argument.
But there was a lot of detail,
Mhm.
like in terms of costume design. Let's
Right,
put it
right.
that way,
And
So,
and
all right, well, I
I'm gonna
mean,
let me just put a pin in like real
yeah,
quick.
put a pin in it.
Just to bring it back to us. Um,
Yeah.
I started thinking a couple of days ago that like I wonder if Stray is evergreen, and it's not. I think it's definitely of its moment, and somebody better than me can probably judge it for for its merits and stuff. But I think it's of its moment.
Mm.
A lot of it is a reactionary story to things that I'm either seeing or things that I'm going through, that kind of thing. Like with Requiem, the underlying theme of the story is losing a pet and how we don't want to lose a pet.
But that's evergreen.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
That's evergreen.
but if you look at the overall thing, it's just government versus a superhero. You know what I mean? Like one superhero versus the government, which could
I
be
mean, and that's classic. And
yeah, but
that's
again, it's
class.
and I think that's the thing about nostalgia is that nostalgia gets you into very dangerous ground if you're a slave to it. Like, if you can use, Mark Waid is probably the best at this, to use nostalgia to inform what you're about to read that is nothing like what you've read before. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like, it's very much the stories he writes stand on their own. But if you don't like, if you don't know 70 years of continuity of Robin, or 80 at this point, you don't have to. You know what I?
No,
All you need to know
but he
is
honors he honors the tenets of the character and
right,
then expands on them to
right,
tell a story, and that's why that's how you know that's a Mark Waid story. You know,
absolutely.
like even if you didn't know, that's what it reads and feels like. You know, and yeah, I was going to just say you're reminding me of the fact that I have been for a month now going to eat in a mansion that's a 100 years worth of residencies,
Yeah,
and so much artifact and relics all around me. This studio is probably newer and updated than what might have been here before, but this is part of a building that existed for many, a long time. The house I'm staying at, like for the first few weeks, I thought I had a ghost in a lamp because I don't know if I mentioned this, but I would hear a sound. It sounded like a sniper bullet through a window.
oh,
And the
weird.
reason why I'm identifying it as a sniper bullet is because it was going so fast, it would make that little tink, kind of
Hmm.
tink, but crack, but be a little hole versus a shattering of
Right.
so like a sniper bullet that goes fast. And I'd be like, every night I hear this thing. I'm like, why is someone shooting at me? Is it a ghost? Like, what is it? And finally, I was sitting in bed one night and I heard it, and I quickly looked toward where the sound came from finally, because usually when the lights were off, but the lights were on. And I saw this little sconce with a little pull string, a metal pull string, and it was swinging.
Huh.
And I'm like, why is it swinging? And then I realized, oh, there's like a spark that goes tink against the side of the glass sconce. And then it's just swinging between bulb and sconce in the air until it just settles, right?
Uh,
And I'm like, why is it doing it? And then I watch this happen for the next week, every night. Lights on, I hear it. By the time I look over, it's just swinging and then eventually stops. And so I finally told the office, it's the ghost in my sconce, like, and they were like, what the hell's going on? Because other people have reported ghosts and, you know, so I that afternoon, Shane, the guy who lives on the property with his family and takes care of Yaddo, basically, is knocking on my door, and I happen to be in my room where writing, and not in this studio where I draw. And he's like, well, show me what's going on. And I explained everything I just said to you. He's like, what? And then he was trying to fix it. He pulled the thing out to see the wires. The wires are fine. He pulled it back in. He's finally like undoes the bulb that like you put the bulb in that thing that you put the bulb in, and he pulls it out and he notices that the bulb kind of has a little split in it, like not the bulb but the bottom of it that you
uh,
plug in. And he's like, it could be this. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, maybe there's like, and I started to think with him like maybe there's something broken in the bulb that is surging
like a
somehow.
short
There's
circuit kind of.
like a short circuit. So and then he turned it on and the light, and then for about, I don't know, it was like for 30 seconds, and he turned it back off, took it out, and it was boiling hot
Yeah.
just from being lit. So it's like this was a dangerous bulb, is
Yeah.
ultimately what. So he went and got another new bulb, put it in. I haven't heard it since. So there you go. It was not a ghost. It was
Science,
technology.
ladies and
Once
gentlemen.
again, trying to kill me.
Science wins again.
Science wins. So that's, and then I don't know, man. Like I usually try to give a little Yaddo report while I'm here. I'm going to show you
Yeah,
some
yeah.
stuff that I've been drawing. I like I said, tonight's this benefit that they do once a year. I'm just going to quickly tell you the movies I've been. Well, first of all, I did a presentation that was fun with two other cartoonists who have now left since. But we did a comics presentation and cartooning and stuff like that. Uh, with Lily Carre, I think that's how you say her. Lily Carr,
Mhm.
Carre, Lily Carre, and Cassie Lee. And so the three of us were rocking comics at Yaddo, and showing the people what's good. Um, And then I managed to watch 5 movies the last
Wow.
time I spoke to you,
Wow.
because I've been doing this like kind of art horror movie series, and with me and this other composer, and sometimes other people trickle in, but me and the composer have been consistent on this. And there was a movie I watched called Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Oh my God. I love that
Do
movie.
you know this?
So stupid. I
It's
love that
so
movie.
stupid and so good. It's a sexploitation film
Mhm.
where they would hire playmate models,
Yes.
centerfolds to be the actors, and then like I forget his name, something Moss. He was like what do you call it? A soap opera actor, terrible, but like good
Yeah.
looking. So it's like
The,
all these good looking, agents.
the
It's
entire
ridiculous.
the entire oeuvre of Andy Sedaris
Yes,
is such a rabbit hole to go down of just I think it's like they did a box set of it and it was
it's
called like
12 movies. It's the 3 Bs. It's babes, bullets, and boobs.
right,
Or is it wait, blondes, bullets, and boobs? It might be
something like that.
blondes, something like that. And it's so much fun. And like what I love is the spirit of like he's like, I'm just making movies. What? And it's got hot chicks. They'll have like in a Hard Ticket to Hawaii, they had a toxic snake that if it
Yes,
bit you would give you instant cancer and you would die within like 24 hours. Like what
I
the
remember that.
fuck? It's so good. It's so much
For
fun.
comic book fans, Julie Strain, who was married to Kevin Eastman and was, I believe, a heavy metal model for a couple of different painters, she's in a couple of these, if not
Hmm.
like the majority of the later ones.
Yeah, she did a lot of the latter ones, and then like I think it started with something called like Malibu Express
Malibu
or
Express
something
is the
like.
first one. Yeah, it's so
Yeah, yeah.
Sybil Danning's in that one, who comic
Yes,
book
that's
fans
right.
remember too.
So like they're bad, but they're great. Like
There's a
this is one of the things that me and the composer have been talking about is how, and the way he said it, I'll give it to him, is like when bad movies were good, you know?
you had sent me a video on Instagram of Han Solo and Chewbacca being beamed up to the Enterprise.
Right.
And I can't remember what my comment was. My comment was something like, "It's just like not jarring, but it just felt fake." You know what I mean, or something. Whatever my comment was.
I'm gonna go see if I can find it.
And then I was looking at my preferences in terms of movies and film and stuff like that, and and bringing this up, the Andy Sedaris movies is a very good thing to bring up because my God bless a terrible line reading or a person that doesn't know how to take direction because they're still better than some of the delivery of these AI and the AI is going to get better. Don't get me
Well,
wrong.
you wrote it's so awkward, or you also
Yes.
cursed as well, but you were like
Yeah.
it's so awkward. And I know what you mean because in a way, it's funny because sometimes you're watching something and you want to be really, really good, but you're not watching Hard Ticket to Hawaii for acting lessons,
Sure.
okay? Or,
Sure.
or for what you want is that awkward, weird kind of, maybe they could have edited better the scene where they go, and you can tell sometimes if you and I are talking and we're having a conversation and it's mostly staying on me, is because your acting sucks so bad that they're just cutting to me like while
I
you
mean,
say lines,
and then you
like
think about how they killed that snake with a bazooka.
yeah, I know, I know,
The
I
greatest
know.
stupid scene in all of movies is that
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
And
And it becomes like weirdly enough, because another thing we've been talking about is John Carpenter here.
hmm,
And there's like 2 scenes toward the end where it becomes like a John Carpenter Halloween
yeah,
movie
yeah.
because like she's just killed this bad guy finally, and she's laying next to the toilet, and you're waiting, and the toilet's open, and you're like waiting for the snake to come out like Michael Myers. Like it is ridiculous, man. But it's so much fun,
Did you ever
and I
see
encourage anyone to
Did you
watch
ever see
it.
the movie Bullet Train from a couple of years ago with Brad
Yeah,
Pitt?
with Brad Pitt. I loved it.
If you can't convince me that that snake in the Brad Pitt movie wasn't as an homage to that Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that was a movie. I started watching Astron 6 is I believe they still exist. Is a group of filmmakers who do horror. And
Mhm.
Astron 6 did a great movie called The Editor that I loved. That was very much inspired by Giallo films, like
I've heard of
60s.
this movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the editor. So I watched a movie they made before that that was like that Trauma Pictures picked up
Okay.
called Father's Day, and I actually had to turn it off at one point.
Hmm.
I think it was because it was late at night. It was so disgusting. I mean, a lot of those movies have a lot of gore, but I'm not kidding. And spoiler, the first within the first 2 minutes of the movie, it's called Father's Day because partially has to do with a priest who goes rogue. Okay, and he's like Mad Max. It's a priest that goes Mad Max. He's trying to kill this, evil, and like there's a bad guy that's kind of like a Frank Miller villain. Like a guy with glasses and
Yeah, yeah,
schlubby, kind of everything. And the schlubby guy, like I don't remember if he kills a priest or an actual father of a child, but within the first few minutes of the movie, the guy is giving himself a blowjob with a severed head, which sure, you know, okay,
if you
but
got one
then
already
it
laying
just
around.
right up the gate, you're like, here's our movie. This is what's going to happen, kind of thing. So I was like, fine, okay. But, the older I get, the less I like more implied. I like either red paint blood, like fake blood,
Hmm.
or, from those movies from the 80s and
Yeah, yeah.
70s and 60s, or, something that implies the horror more than just right there shows it to you.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I kind of turned that one off, not because I thought it was I understood why they went on to make other movies, but I like the other one better, the editor. Oh my God, Vito, you've got to see The Baby.
The Baby?
The Baby.
Tell me
Just
about it.
watch the trailer alone. It's directed by Ted Post, who I believe might have directed some Clint Eastwood movies or something. I have to look him up. Ted
What is it
Post.
from? What
You've
year?
seen
Like how
73 or 74.
okay.
And basically, it's a 21-year-old man who's still in diapers and lives in a crib and is a baby and just cries like a baby and goes, Mama. And there's the mother and then her two daughters. So it's like a three, matriarchal type situation. And then there's the social worker who comes to check in on him, who's infatuated. So after a while, it's not about the baby anymore. It's about the women and their dynamics with the baby and what everyone wants. And like one of the daughters is sleeping with him, the other daughter beats him with a cattle prod. Then there's the mother who basically is like an analog of Joan Crawford in
Uh,
some ways. And it's amazing with a twist ending you don't see coming.
okay.
It's great. The Baby.
That's
Just watch the trailer alone,
I'm gonna
and then you're in. I mean, you're in. It might make you feel like, can I really watch this? And yes, you can. And then last night I watched a movie called Americana
okay.
uh, with Sydney Sweeney and Paul
Yeah.
Walter Hauser, I think,
Yeah,
and
this is a Western.
Halsey of all people. And after we watched the movie, we're like, why did they make this movie? But I hate to ask that question because why do I make half the shit I make?
Right,
So,
right.
but it was entertaining. It was interesting. It did feel a little kind of written at times, and there was a big set piece that could have been shrunk a little bit. Um, it was fun. I don't know if I'm necessarily recommending it. Um, but I watched that because I was kind of curious. And then another person here who's a writer. You a Paul Schrader fan, the guy who wrote Taxi
I
Driver?
like some of his stuff. Yeah, like I was actually listening to um I think he wrote did he write Rolling Thunder? I think he might have written,
Oh, he might have. He
you know,
might
like
have.
but like I was like it was the cinema speculation by Quentin
Right.
Tarantino, and he talks about how Schrader had these three movies that came out roughly one after the other. Taxi Driver, I think Rolling Thunder, and then one other one that I like that didn't do so well. I was like something with a D. I can't remember, Defiance or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about. So this movie I never heard of, Mishima, A Life in Four Chapters.
Hmm.
You haven't heard of
Clayton
this,
wrote
right?
that? Oh,
Schrader wrote and directed it.
it wasn't. It
What?
wasn't Rolling Thunder. It was the Yakuza.
Oh,
I
it's
think.
called.
God damn it! Now I
It's.
got to look it up.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But Mishima, A Life in Four Chapters, I think came out in 1985. So like roughly 10 years after Taxi Driver.
Hmm.
And it's about a real famous writer in Japan named something Mishima, who'd written a whole bunch of books, but he was also in the military. And what's interesting about the movie structure is that it begins, you don't know this, spoiler, sorry guys, if and I'm spoiling it to you too, but it kind of makes you want to watch it. You realize that, oh, this is the last day of this guy's life.
Oh
So
wow.
throughout the movie, it keeps visiting, it bookends basically him going to go do something. He's putting on a military uniform and he's like a higher up, like not a general necessarily, but he's high up. And he has recruited 4 men to help him stage this coup. And it cuts to when he's a child, so you get to like see like real autobio, like what made him who he is today.
Mhm.
And then it's intercut with bizarre, surreal staged versions, truncated stage versions of some of his work as an artist, as a writer. So you're not just like having somebody read something, you're getting inside the story with new characters,
Yeah.
which I thought as the person who was showing us this movie made the point that it's really cool. Like if you're going to do the life story of an artist, especially a writer, is to actually dramatize the work in the film because it's cinema.
Yeah.
Like not just read it, but like perform it, let it happen. And it also tells you a little bit about the artist in that way because of what they wrote and how it was staged. So like there's these mini little plays almost that happen between the last day of his life and like the beginning of his life and what his life was like. So it's a lot of information done creatively and dramatized, and so the structure is great. And then it ends. Oh, it's sad.
So
Like you would actually,
what
I
year is
think you
that
would
from?
feel this ending. Huh?
What year is that from?
1985, I think. And it's about a guy who, well, at the end, they bum rush the general's office. They take it over, and he wants the army to come out because he has something he wants to say to the army, basically. And
Uh,
he gets to the edge of the building where he's outside, and they bring out the guards or whatever in the army, and he's standing there and he's trying to say what he needs to say, and they're all just like talking over him. Fuck you, go to hell. They're throwing shit at him, and he's like, no one's listening to me. Like I finally got here. I have something to say, like about peace or something, or stop war or whatever. And
uh,
he's like, nobody's. And he looks at everybody, and he pulls out a sword and he does seppuku and
yeah.
kills himself.
So
And it's fucked up.
so Paul Schrader did write Yakuza uh,
Oh,
in '74, Taxi Driver, the movie Obsession, which I'm not familiar with. He also did Rolling Thunder, so I was correct there. He did Hardcore, which is an amazing
yes.
movie with is that George C. Scott, I think.
Or she's got
Uh,
a priest whose daughter gets into the porn industry.
yeah, it like Paul Schrader's output in the '70s is kind of untouched. Like he's kind of like I don't want to say he's like a hero to many.
Well, he was writing movies that were really like intense, like
Yeah, yeah.
anti-hero movies and religion. And I mean, not his most recent movie. This might be, I don't think it's 10 years old yet, but he did it with, oh God, he's in Blue Moon. He's in The Lowdown. He was married
Oh,
to Uma
Ethan
Thurman.
Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke plays a priest. It's called like First, right? You're looking at his IMDb or something. Can you go to a more recent movie like from 2015 maybe or something
Let me
or
see.
after
2015, you said?
or after like more recent.
Was it
I'm gonna
Dog
say in
Eat
the
Dog?
last what?
Dog Eat Dog?
Nope. Nope.
Uh, Hold
It's
on.
Ethan Hawke. He's a priest. First Rites or something or
There Are No Saints in 2020.
nope.
Dying of the Light.
Oh God, what are you looking at?
I'm looking
Hall.
at his. Is he directing it or writing it?
He directed and wrote it.
Okay, so let's because I'm looking at and then
I'm just gonna
all
write
writing credits.
First Reformed, 2017. First Reformed. You should check that out. It's great. It's got a
Okay.
great ending. Yeah. Anyway, those are the movies I watched while I was here, and I'm still struggling to finish Dan Clowes's Monica graphic novel. I'm just not connecting to it.
Right.
Um, and then I have a couple other little things I can talk about. But do you have some stuff?
Well, I
Delsante,
watched a movie. Um, what's today's date? Today is Thursday.
25th,
So I
June
watched it on
25th.
Tuesday. Called "Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die." First, before I even mention that, I actually watched an old favorite of mine, Animal House, on,
Oh,
and I was just like in the mood for some kind of silly kind of not 80s, like typical 80s stuff, but just something kind of like a classic. And I was like, I kind of want to watch Stripes or Animal House or Meatballs or one of these dumbass movies.
Revenge of the Nerds would have been mine.
It's a little later. That's I think
Oh, okay.
82 or something like that. But like, just something like I almost watched 1941, which was a Steven
Never
Spielberg.
seen it.
I adore that movie, although everyone hates it. People point to it as Spielberg's mistake, and
Right,
I adore that movie. It's got Belushi in it. It's got Treat Williams.
right.
It's got a bunch of good people in it. So I watched Animal House, and it wasn't like I learned anything new or I saw something I never saw before, but I was giggling, like and like laughing at all the right spots and everything like that. So it was just comfort movie, I guess, like.
Sure,
And
sure.
I had wanted to watch Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die without knowing much about the premise. I know Sam Rockwell plays somebody from the future, and there's like a future he's trying to stop. So if you go in knowing just that, that's all
That's
you
all I know.
that's
That's
all
all I
you really
know.
need to know, because
Yeah.
it's not it doesn't necessarily talk about that stuff.
Hmm.
What it's
Hmm.
talking about is it was directed by Gore Verbinski, who did the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Hmm.
Um, but what it's talking about is how our society, how people have let technology take over our lives, how people are always in their phones, especially teenagers, how the idea of cloning sounds good on paper, but the reality of it is a lot scarier. And virtual reality, how we can, forget about the beauty of the outside world. And mind you, we had a couple of bears on my property here for the past couple of days. So the beauty of the outside world is kind of terrifying sometimes. But like being lost in this reality, there's a character who I absolutely adore in this movie. I don't know the actress who played her. She's got a really weird name. Um, because her last name is Lu, Lu. Like I don't know, who she is, but she plays a character who is literally allergic to technology and Wi-Fi, so her nose starts bleeding, and like,
Oh, that's great.
and it's just like, oh, you just feel for this girl, like, and her,
Yeah.
and it's like Rockwell is good in everything. Like he
Oh,
just
yeah.
like what's the movie where he's in a movie inside of a movie and it's just absurd. It's like something horses or something like that.
Oh, I don't know if I know this.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. But it's so funny, that movie, and he's just amazing in it. Um,
I hung out with him at a bar at Brooklyn Social one night when he, Olivia Wilde, Jeremy Renner,
Jesus.
they were all hanging out at. I'm like, what is going on? And it's because the bartender, really cool guy, uh, knew half of these guys and was actually making a feature film with him and whatever. And they were just dancing and drunk. And I had heard at the time that Rockwell was up for possibly up for a Jonathan Ames adaptation
Oh,
or
cool.
something. And but that didn't go anywhere. And I don't even know if that was even true. Um,
Did you use
anyway,
that as kind of like a way to start talking to him and stuff? Or
yeah, yeah. I was like, hey, and but he he was a little drunk. He's in a bar. Hey, you
yeah,
know, they were all dancing and hanging. It was crazy. It was like 3 blocks from my house in Brooklyn. I'm like, what's going on here? So but what's the movie?
uh,
Did you find it?
I'm looking for it right now. I'm like, it's just loading. It's just taking a bit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he
I mean,
played
he's
Bob.
done so many great movies.
He played Bob Fosse on TV. He was so good in that.
Bob Fosse, he's in a movie I love with they're like two guys trying to are hired to rob a hockey trophy.
Uh,
Not the Heisman, that's football. What's the big hockey one?
oh, the Stanley Cup.
The Stanley Cup. from a Jewish gangster. They're hired to. It's such a good movie. Oh God, did it come up yet?
Yeah,
His
Gentlemen
list?
Broncos is the name of the movie.
Really? I've
Yeah,
never heard
Gentlemen
that.
Broncos. He plays the weirdest freaking character, and it's just so funny.
That's awesome. I'm trying to think about. Oh God. So Sam Rockwell movies. I'm sorry to do this to all our
Yeah, that's
people
okay.
watching. Oh God, what? Yeah, here we go. Hold on. AI, it's everywhere, isn't it? Will IMDb allow me? Well, you're on it, and I want to say it was in the 90s.
I just left. I just clicked off of it actually.
Okay, Bad Guys too. All right, so let's see all. Hold on. Um, God, he's in so many movies. Oh, the
Yeah,
billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Okay.
yeah. He's the thing about him that I kind of appreciate is he'll take small roles, like
hmm
when can you miss him, and he's in the movie um
hmm
every here and there.
Oh,
But
he was in I think Paul Schrader made a movie called Light Sleeper with Willem Dafoe.
I think
I
you're right.
believe he was
Yeah,
in that. Okay, I'm getting into the era of where this movie is. And I feel like I have recommended this movie to you. Safe Men. Have you ever seen
yes,
Safe Men?
yes, it's very good.
So
Matchstick
good.
Men is another good one that he did with Nicolas Cage that I
I
really
never saw that.
Con Men. It's really, really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Um, so how I have some work stuff to share.
I have one more thing to bring up
Okay.
that I just read in a Hollywood Reporter before we came on. Um, here's the
Batman.
yeah, Absolute Batman to become animated series from Warner Brothers Animation DC Studios. So, uh,
Wow.
the it's obviously a hit, but now they're making it into an animated series, which I find fascinating when you think about number one, how old this book is. It's not very old.
Yeah.
The tradition of Warner Brothers,
But how old Batman is?
but yeah, I was getting to that. But like the tradition of Warner Brothers animation with Batman, with Bruce Timm's Batman the animated
Right,
series being the
right,
high mark of Batman adaptations, and
right.
then this is now like capturing the zeitgeist. Here's what I found very interesting within the context of the article. The series has sold more than 6 million copies, while Absolute Batman through has gone number one through 11 printings. 11
Wow,
printings.
wow, wow. That's
So
cray.
that is crazy. They're also talking about. They also announced, I should say, a Joker anime, like a anime, done by what was the name of the studio? Uh, Yasuhiro Aoki, um, his studio, where the Joker uh, is trying to solve Batman's murder. Like he's
Oh, wow,
so the Joker becomes
wow.
the thing that he hates. Kind of.
Right, right, right.
So
You
I
know,
think both of those are interesting.
I've only had two loose ideas for the Joker that I may have shared before, and I may have told you. One was I wanted to do a story called Resting Joker Face,
Yes, I remember that.
and then there was a one GI Joker where I didn't tell you about
That's
this
interesting.
one.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
So let me briefly see if I can pull it up because it's just easier. I don't remember. Sometimes I write an idea down and then it's on to the next. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I've written some pitches while I was here, like let me just see if I can pull it up. And again, it's not. Oh, here we go. Uh, okay, you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm just reading it cold. I wrote this June 20, sorry, July 21st, 2025. GI Joker. Here's what I have to share. And again, this is like me pitching in a way. Before he fell into a vat of life-changing chemicals, before he became the clown prince of crime, the maniac known as the Joker took up basic training as a young adult. It was in the barracks that he discovered his twisted sense of humor and grew to become the human chaos that Batman would later know to be his greatest challenge. It was in the army that our psychotic soldier learned the art of war. And it was in the field where a horrific ambush that killed everyone in his infantry was much more than friendly fire gone wrong. This is the story of his first massacre, his first maniacal laugh, and the story of a mentally unstable survivor of child abuse being weaponized by a country that had no idea what they were activating. And what does a special meeting with this special air service man from the British Army named Alfred Pennyworth have to do with the fate of the
Oh,
Joker's future? So that's what I wrote.
I don't know, man. That's pretty good. Like, I mean, I want to read it.
Maybe that could be a collaboration because like you love war and the
Dude,
army, and that could be a fun
it's
collaboration.
funny, like when you were reading some of the opening sentences of that, I was like, oh, pay the devils. I just got, I was going to mention, I got more artwork. And
Oh, sweet, sweet.
I just, Steve sent me a couple of cover ideas, and I just picked the cover that I think works the best. I'm going to actually forward this to you now, so you can
On phone or email?
on phone,
Okay.
and I'll see if you pick the same one that I picked.
Oh, you're sending me the choices?
Yeah, I don't want to share it with the world.
Not yet. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's these are just sketches, but like there's an A, B, C, and D. I think he has them marked over.
Okay, so A, B, C. Um, I don't know why, but my eye is going toward D.
Congratulations, Dean! You picked the cover.
There you go. Boom. Yeah, I like that.
I
There's
said
something just classic about it, right?
what I
Like
said to him was it reminded me of like an old paperback, throwaway kind of, like,
Hulk kind of,
yeah,
yeah. No, I love it. That's the way to go.
yep,
That's the way to go. All right, sweet. Awesome, man. That's great. Well, I mean, that's exciting, right? You're
absolutely,
making comics.
yeah,
Um, Speaking of, because you said a Batman, Absolute Batman series, animated series.
yeah.
So I just found out something, and then the next day there was a news report about something else. Okay, and I
Are they
think you'll
related?
make the connection. So I wrote and drew a Conan the Barbarian story called Red Fists and Silver Lightning about 4 years ago,
Okay,
and it's when another editor was putting together the series that is been with Jim Zub,
yeah,
from
Titan
Titan.
Comics. Yeah,
Titans publishing it, and the what it was for. The reason why I got tapped was because like Bizarro Comics or Strange Tales, where Marvel and DC will
yeah,
do funky versions, alternative versions of allow the indie folks to play with their toys, kind of thing.
yeah.
This was going to be a version of that, like a Conan, Bizarro, Strange Tales, like have fun with the characters. So I was tapped to write and draw an 8-page story that I got our mutual buddy Mike Caballero, former studio mate, to color. And then it just sat there because that editor left. And then, Conan went to get published, this new iteration that Jim Zub has been writing. And it's great. It's been doing well. And then I was like, well, mine got lost. And I wanted to have canon Conan.
Mhm.
Well, I just found out that it's going to be published by Titan Comics in a Jim Zub written collection called Conan the Barbarian, Volume 8, Ghosts and Echoes. And my story should appear in that as part of the collection coming out October 20th,
Nice.
this year, actually around the same time that we'll be in Baltimore.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and then the next day, they announced, is it Tartovsky who
Yeah,
did,
Gendy Tartakovsky. Yeah, brutal. I think it's.
he's doing a Conan animated series
Oh, so
called Conan the Cimmerian.
yeah, he
Yeah.
he did a book. He did a Clone Wars for Star Wars.
And Primal. And did he do
Primal,
Samurai
yeah,
Jack?
and Samurai Jack. Yes,
Yes, he's great. He's
yeah,
great.
he's amazing.
So
Like
he's doing a Conan series, which yeah, yeah. No, it so like, and then I felt even better about the fact that I draw like a cartoonier looking Conan. I was like, oh well, this is cartoony,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. I mean, because the series, I forget his name, but the guy that got to draw the Jim Zub Conan series, I think he's used several artists, but the one that started out the gate is very John Buscema looking.
Yeah.
like kind of eerie how John Buscema adjacent the art is.
Yeah.
So I was excited to finally. I mean, I was going to try and buy this story back and just change the name and just publish it myself. But
Hmm.
luckily, it is coming out. I also did promo art for a new series called Lazarus Order, being published by Mad
Yes,
Cave.
I saw you posted a cover.
Yeah, so it's just like a promo piece, and it's written and co-created by Sloan Siegel and the amazing artist Wando. Wando is
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and so they have this series coming out that I did promo art for, and I believe Sloan Siegel, who's an actor, it does the voice of Robin in like the Teen Titans cartoon or something like that.
Um,
Um,
no, she might do another voice. The guy that does Robin uh, is
I'm gonna look it up right now. Here we go with the internet again.
Greg Sipes. No, he might be doing Beast Boy.
Sloan Siegel, uh, voice actor.
And your Conan
Uh,
artist you were referring to is Robert
yeah,
Del.
he plays Tim Drake, Robin in the video game Gotham Knights,
Ah, okay.
and then maybe some other stuff. So Sloan Morgan Siegel, check him out. He's a cool guy. Um, Wait, what were you just saying?
Robert De La Torre is the artist that you were talking about from Conan.
Oh, 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 okay, yeah. And then a couple of shout outs. Uh, wait. No, I have another piece of news.
Oh,
Oh, I did a Godzilla versus New York City cover for IDW
mhm.
that was basically announced about a week or so ago. Um, I was actually hoping to one day do like Godzilla versus Brooklyn. So I drew the Brooklyn Bridge
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
on my cover, and I used the classic Godzilla from like the 60s that people haven't seen. And fans of that, iteration seem to like that, which is
Mhm.
cool. I wanted to. Oh, also, I did an interview with Zach Rabaroff for Publishers Weekly. The article came up yesterday, and the title is "Inside the Brave New World of Kickstarter Comics." He also interviewed Don Simpson. And Sean Edgar, who is the new comics director at Kickstarter. And it's kind of like a little bit of an overview. I kind of got a little blunt and candid by how my experience with Kickstarter has been in terms of the monies I make and my little process. And they also talk about like Transformers, how they get funded and make like $4.5 million. Like
Right.
it runs the gamut. I had forgotten one thing. Apparently, do you remember that Archie Comics tried to use Kickstarter and
And
they
got
got like
blasted for it.
criticized and then pulled it down? Like
Yep.
now publishers use it all the time,
Yeah,
you know?
Skybound's using it. I think at one point, Mark Silvestri, Top Cow, was trying to use it, and I don't remember if that got pulled or if they pulled it down themselves or if it actually
Right.
went through. But I remember that as well being kind of a sticking point.
Also, I want to give our buddy Josh Neufeld a shout out because the Library of Congress acquired every single page of his masterpiece, AD New
Yeah.
Orleans After the Deluge graphic novel, plus all the source materials and everything. Like, and he just wrote about it, and he kept that a secret from me for about 9 months, which
And
is
you've known him
crazy.
since you were 14.
I know it's insane. So, like, congratulations to Josh, and listen, uh, I have been asked twice early on to donate my artwork for The Quitter, the graphic novel Harvey Pekar wrote about his origin, basically. And I just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
But there might be something interesting happening in the future that I can't talk about right now. That would be involve a different project I worked on. We'll see. I don't know. I have a tough time, and I'll segue to this. I have a tough time letting go of my original art. Like I own most of my artwork I've ever done, unless it's a commission. With a commission, I can know, at least in my head, right out the gate, I'm like, I'm gonna have to let this go, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to feed myself at the same time. With that in mind, I'll show you a series I'm launched, but I'm going to start with. I think I don't know if I showed you this already, and
Yeah.
I know I showed it online,
Not online. Yeah.
but that's yours. Oh, is that James?
Yeah. It's the birthday
What's
boy.
up, James? How old are you now?
11.
11. Awesome. And happy birthday.
Thanks.
What's the
Did
name
you
of
get any cake yet?
What?
You get any cake yet?
No, we had a party on Saturday, and we're going to have a cake
Ah,
tonight as well.
nice, nice. 2 times. That's how birthdays roll.
And
Look at all that hair, Vito.
yeah,
Look
I
at all
know
that hair your son has.
that I'm giving up.
You gave up. But you know what happens? You lose your hair up here, but it grows long down here.
Oh yeah,
You can
he's
do
starting to
the
he's starting
opposite
to get a
way.
little mustache already.
A little mustache, huh? Nice. Well, happy birthday. I'm about to show your dad some artwork I did.
Okay.
So you can look at it too if you want.
What's this?
So this was something I made for your dad.
Yep,
All right.
my
Because he
version.
loves Wildcat. And then I did so far, I don't know if I'm gonna do any more, but I did 10 other postcard, down and dirty, unsolicited Yaddo, what I call art I did at Yaddo's. Not that maybe that means something. But I did a quick Batman.
Ooh.
All right. Batman and the Joker.
Oh, I like your Joker.
I did-
It's normal, like the regular Joker. It's got a little bit of flair to him.
Yep. Thank you. I did a weird little Wonder Woman.
Not bad. That's not weird. That's pretty good.
I just did something different with her. I wanted to play around with her costume,
Mhm.
you know. Of course, we got the thing, you know. I played around with like a classic Wolverine with Deadpool, you know. I did
Careful with that. The
a little
Hulk.
drawing of the Hulk. Okay. I don't like the design of Absolute Batman, but I did another Absolute Batman.
You did one
Okay.
before, right?
I did one that, yeah, was I like this one. Then I was like, oh, this is where my Wolverine's coming in. Like this one's,
Yeah.
you know. And then last night I quickly did like a Superman, almost like a Frank Miller-esque kind of Superman,
What's
like
funny is it's not just
a
that.
brawler.
There's a
A what?
there's not just that. It's like in the brushwork on the cape. It reminds me of Fife.
Oh, you're right. A little like the heavy brush type of
Yeah,
thing. To me, I'm always thinking of Frank Robbins,
yeah,
if I, a
that
little
makes
bit.
sense.
And then I tried to draw, I don't know what the reviews are for Supergirl, but I did my own little Supergirl,
Nice.
you know, to have some fun. So I got some, 10 of these. It might be the entire series, it might just be 10 or maybe 12, depending on what I do today. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I wanted to let y'all know. A reminder that I'm going to be in Jacksonville, Florida on July 11th for IC3 Independent Comics show. Uh, and was there anything else? I think I've covered my notes. I think that's it, man.
Well, July 10th through the
Eat
20th.
notes.
You what? You ate the notes.
Yeah.
July 10th through the 20th, I'll be back in New York, so we'll be meeting up again and doing another episode on the road.
That would be cool. And then I was going to ask, because we're doing Baltimore,
Mhm.
do we want to try to pitch and try to do
Yeah, absolutely.
a panel where we do a show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the amount of people that are going to be there. It'll be cool
Yeah.
to get some guests. So,
I know
all right, cool.
he'll be at our panel at least.
That's right. That's right.
You know what?
Baltimore.
All right, we good?
Yeah, we good.
Dad still has a little bit of hair in the back.
Dots, little Bend-Aid dots of hair.
Yeah, back here.
That connects to this, huh? All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That was episode 76. We're on our way to 100. Happy birthday to my boy.
Happy birthday, Jane.
Go check out Meatball Man on YouTube. Also, check out below. We have some links for donations
Dad.
or a t-shirt. We just sold a t-shirt the other day, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I'm dying to see who's going to show up to
Oh
Baltimore.
Lord.
Idea.
We might have to sign. We might have to sign a shirt.
My handle to my YouTube
I always do.
because they won't know which Meatball Man it is.
They'll find you. Don't worry. My listeners know. And again, we'll both be at Baltimore, and we hope to see a lot of you there. And that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Dean. Get home safe. I'm looking forward to you seeing what your birthday present is when you get there.
Oh boy.
Keep in
Oh
mind
boy.
that it's been a month since I sent it to you,
I know. I know. I can't wait.
so we'll
So
have
it'll be
to.
soon. All
All
right,
right,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.